All right, and welcome to Business Technicalities. I am Tom Lawrence, and I'm joined by
Sean Lardo, of
yes.
course.
And Business Technicalities is where the business content that I started on my main channel and decided it should come over here, but I should also bring some friends involved too. And that's why Sean's here. And we got our little titles on there. Sean's an entrepreneur and has a lot of experience taking companies from where they are to the next level. And that's kind of a easy definition of entrepreneur. So we're going to leverage some of his experience. I guess I'm considered an entrepreneur. Sometimes I joke that I'm an unwilling one because I've started a business and then somehow maintained it for almost 20 years. And I would love sharing a lot of insights because we all know the statistics that according to the SBA, 90% of SMBs and startups fail for a lot of various reasons. And we figured if we can share some of the knowledge we have, Sean, from some very large scale companies that he's worked at and currently works at, and some of the other knowledge that I have of somehow staying in business, we can help prevent some of these pitfalls that you may run into. And that's where we want to drop a little knowledge, have a little fun, have some conversation, and talk about all the technicalities of running a business.
Absolutely. Let's put it this way: you started touching on the entrepreneur. We threw these titles on for this video just because it made sense to say this, and people will ask why and how and where. I started a business many years ago, and I realized I didn't like it. I didn't want to be the end all be all of everything. CEO. I think when you're a kid, you have a dream of being an astronaut, a firefighter, a cop, a doctor, or a CEO, or maybe there's some other various things too, right? But I thought I was like, oh, CEO, of course. And as I grew, I was like, yeah, I want to be a CEO. It was like in my head, and then I was like, no, this is rough. First off, I don't like accounting. I don't like. I don't
Legal.
like.
You don't like
Yeah,
legal. That
yeah.
was a conversation we had before this.
We discussed. I don't like legal. I mean, I appreciate them all to
Yeah,
no end. I
we
love
know
them.
they're
I'm using them in my
necessary.
life. Right. But an entrepreneur, they're the buck stops there for everything. And we can actually share the definitions at some point of what entrepreneur are. Like we'll actually give it to everybody, say no. But the reality is an entrepreneur is a person who organizes and operates the business. They have the greatest requirement of financial risk and reward of anybody, but really they're the ones that are putting their name on the line. An entrepreneur is somebody, and this is where I came into play, what I realized I belong in, even small businesses and large businesses, is coming in and helping to own a particular portion of the business to create the product market fit for them, to take them to the next level. Because like you and I already discussed a while back, and most, especially tech guys and MSPs know, they're usually great at technology. They usually struggle with the other side, the business savvy aspect of sales, marketing, business development, creating that awareness. So that's when entrepreneur really starts out, and they actually are an owner. They're a stakeholder. They're not an owner of the owner, but they are an owner of their environment. And for lack of a better term, they fire the owner out of their responsibilities. Get out and just stay being a CEO or whatever you should be.
Right. And that's where me and Sean are going to be bouncing off each other because of his experience at some of the larger scale things, much bigger than I've done in terms of business. But I still have a lot of insight to offer of working with all these companies and that. So the other thing to keep in mind with the two of us too is the person who starts the business, the person who grows the business aren't always the same. So that's where we're going to have that. And plus, Sean's really connected. He's better at talking to people, so he's going to have a lot of good advice around that.
Hold on. You can't say that with your other YouTube channel of 240,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Obviously, and I've watched your videos before this. We've been friends long enough, and you have a wonderful gift of gab in all the right ways. Where I say too much, you say just enough. Let's be clear. So
Yeah.
stop trying to give me all the accolades as you have numbers to support it. And back to the entrepreneur comment about you. You're absolutely an entrepreneur.
I may have done a couple other things. Maybe this is a channel where I open up more about some of the business things I've done, and I don't mind talking about it. I've certainly had my share of failures, partnerships that didn't work, and ideas that were bad. So if anything, I want people to learn from us, not just because we've talked about things we've done, but we're going to talk about the things we failed at, because I think those are incredibly important lessons. And if we failed at them and lost some money, and you can see how that failed and not lose the money, you're ahead of us then.
we want a difference in the loss. How about that? We only want 10% of what the potential loss could have been.
Yeah, that would be a fun way to do it. Oh, by the way, we're not selling anything either. That's what me and Sean, we're doing this because we like doing this, because we like, there's not a,
Exactly.
by the way, buy my book or consulting that comes at the end of this
Wait, we're not.
spiel. This is straight up just business technicalities, sharing a lot of our knowledge on here. It is, we clearly are purpose defining it. That's what this first video is about, of why we're here, why you should care about listening to us, and what our shtick is, and that there's really not a shtick.
There's no shtick. Matter of fact, this is almost a Wild West winging it of actually our experiences. And I thought we were writing a book. We're not. Shh, I'm on the wrong call.
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong call. I'm writing a book.
Yeah, I'm on the wrong call. I don't want to write a book. It
I
seems
don't
like a
either.
lot of work.
Oh my Lord. I actually, Marnie Stockman from Life Cycle Insight wrote a book, if you haven't had a chance to get it. But she was like, hey, do you want to write an excerpt for me? I'm like, sure. And like, I don't mind writing a sentence or two and communication like this, but my Lord, to actually sit down and try to formalize things, I was like, I got to hire somebody to write for me. Like, cause I
Yeah.
can't, I can write a bunch of bullets and be good to go, but I don't know that I can write a full book. I'd probably be bored with myself. I'd be mad at myself. I would probably break up with myself doing the writing of the book.
Yeah, it would be rough.
But for selling stuff, we're not selling anything, but we do have swag.
Well, yeah, we are going to have swag store and things like that. So I can't say we're selling nothing. We just aren't trying to talk you into something or giving you partial knowledge. Now, a lot of the goals here is going to be, like my other channel, a lot of community driven. So we know there's probably very few people subscribed. As of now, looking over my shoulder, there's like just a couple hundred people that subscribe because we just set this channel up. So as the channel grows, we really, really appreciate all the feedback you give us, suggestions for topics and things, so we can really hone in on what the audience wants and bring that information to you. That's the plan. Just like that's a lot of how my other channel is driven. It's very feedback driven.
Absolutely. And to make sure you understand, this is a very engaging channel. We want you to add two things. We will be live streaming at some point here, and we do want your participation. We want to hear what you guys want to learn about, because we do plan on having guests on from the various spectrums of this spectrums of business. And by the way, not just MSPs, but business owners, because I think we can all agree businesses fail for a lot of the same reasons, regardless if it's technology or if it's a bakery or if it's a mechanic. Same rules would apply. So we do intend on bringing people in from various groups, from various sectors of business. If you have somebody that you think would be good for us, please let us know, first off. Second, if you have topics you wanted us to discuss and bring up, let us know. So obviously we're not going to do it that day. We can talk about it on the call, but but I don't know how much, I don't know if we'll go back to legal. I don't know how much legal advice I can give, because I just like legal, but we can find an attorney that can talk about it, but we can work on that. So, and Tom, with that said, even like, what do you think are some of the areas of focus that you think businesses run on?
A lot of the things that I want to focus on first is because this is what I talked about on another channel. And it's a question that still comes up whenever I talk about some of the larger projects we do, is how'd you get that project? I know that's where a lot of the audience I have, that at least the starting out audience, is going to want to know. And that's what I want to do talk a lot about, is the lead generation, the processes for it, the ways you get in front of people, essentially. Sean has a wealth of knowledge in that. I have a lot of knowledge in that from, I got in front of people. I didn't get where I'm at by not doing it. So I'll share what worked, what didn't work, and some of the irrelevant things I did. And I see irrelevant because what I did 20 years ago isn't exactly the same things I'm doing today, because it turns out social media wasn't really a thing when I started, but we'll still talk about what
I was friends with a guy on MySpace. What do you mean? We were Tom? My God, we were great friends. He told me we were.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into a lot of that. We want to make sure people understand some of those processes, and I know that it's going to be where, and of course it naturally is, a lot of where the big questions are. You come at this, and I say you, the audience, a lot of you come from the technical background. You left the job, went out on your own, and I have some, a lot of friends that have done this, and it's the first wall they hit is, man, I don't know how to get leads to come in. Boy, I know how to service this equipment. I know how to do these tasks really, really well, that lead gen process. So we're going to probably start out a lot of our videos focusing on that topic, because I think it's kind of directly related to getting started. Because the people who are sales driven that started a company, they ain't watching us. They already know our part. They're trying to hire one of you tech people to get you back working at a job again.
Exactly. So no, I totally agree. Creating that awareness and demand is it's so critical, right? But along with that though, is what are you creating that awareness for? So that ties into like a product market fit. And by product market fit, I'm not talking about vendors, products, or technologies, or platforms, or hardware. I'm not talking about anything specific. You're the product.
Right.
You're the product, your solution, whatever it is you're solving for, whether it's unclogging drains or it's fixing computers, you're the product. So what are you talking about? Actually, probably something I would like to focus on a little bit and hear from others is, how do you say what you do as an MSP?
Yes.
What's your elevator pitch? I would love to hear some great elevator pitches, because I've been around and I've heard some
Not good ones.
long-winded
Is that the
explanations.
this is the next thing. If I told you how to get in front of people, what would you say when you got there? Make sure you understand how to sell for the solution and don't talk nerd out. I mean, unless you have a client who wants to nerd out, but generally you don't. I've been lucky enough to have a couple that do, but most part they don't care what tools you're using in the back end. It's
Nope.
not gonna what This is not going to matter to them. It's about presenting how you sell the solution, how you solve for the pain, and how to interact with them. I mean, there's going to be a little coaching on here that we're going to talk about with that, of how to get in front of people. My preferred mode of operation is being deeply technical, but I put the salesman hat on sometimes and stop the tech talk and, talk about how this is a fit for their business, how it's going to save them money in a very direct way, and thinking about that. And those aren't easy pitches to come up with, because it does take a little effort on your part of even understanding their business more so than understanding yours. That's how you understand how to solve the pain points for it. And those are going to be good topics we'll dive into. And good news is we're not a very niche company. We're a wide variety company for our client base, from transportation to law offices to dental offices. The pitch is different for all of them. They look at things differently. So those are things that we'll be bringing up into the topics.
Yeah, and I would say third, last but not least in this regard, would be, once you have them, how do you make it easy to do business with you? How do you
Yes.
keep them? How do you keep them together? We were talking before this, and you said about, just easily taking payments. Something
Yep.
as simple as that. Like, uh, we could go into a plethora, a shit ton of problems, such as
Yes.
quoting. Yes. By
Yes.
the way,
Yes. Yes. Got the shirt on there.
thank
So.
you. But yeah, even like quoting, how to put a proposal together. Let's talk. Again, we want to hear from you guys so we can start to cater our content around
Yep.
what's going to be most beneficial for you guys. We both been in business long enough to know our struggles, and we're bringing people on that had struggles that can talk about it. But if there's something near and dear to your heart that just happened now,
Let us
like,
know.
let's talk about it. Yeah, let's a price increase in your product that puts you in a different position of where you charge your customers. How do you address that? That's a big topic, especially nowadays. If we haven't seen, inflation has occurred across the board.
Yeah.
It's a fact, and it's not just a 3% or a 5% inflation. We're talking 40%, 60%. It is happening. So how do you address that? But again, that's not for the next conversation. That's at some point. But if you
Yep.
have it, if it's a dire need, let us know so we can work on that for an episode.
Absolutely. All right. Now, in terms of getting in contact with me, I'll have my Twitter link down below. My LinkedIn is probably the easiest way to talk to me. I'll have Sean's LinkedIn down there. You can just leave a comment on this video. That's easy enough. So there's easy ways to get and interact with us to throw out suggestions. And don't worry, if you have no suggestions, we still have plenty of ideas. We're going to just push through content. We've been working on this for a little while. Sorry
Yeah,
for I've told people it's been coming for a little while, and it has. It just takes time to get things done
me too.
sometimes.
Me too. And people thought I was lying. Yeah, sometimes you have to just get shit done. Correct.
Yeah.
It's yeah. People think I'm lying, but I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. Like,
Yeah, we're starting another thing. So
like
this is the thing we
Tom's a real
started.
person. Tom's a
Yeah.
real person. He's not Bigfoot. I'm like, he's not Bigfoot. I swear to God, he's there. It's not the Loch Ness monster. Although that's a great shirt concept at this point, I guess. Maybe we can work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on some of the swag things and get all those links down below and everything else. For now, leave some comments, hit us up on LinkedIn. Feel free to message us to say hi, to say you like or hate it. If you hate us too, let us know. That's always interesting. So those conversations sometimes are interesting to have. So
And better yet, if we get a good comment from somebody, we'll be happy to share it on one of our episodes and talk about it at length.
yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you hate us. Like, if you give us a hate one that's really well written, no bad, not a ton of cuss words, but just a very well written.
I'll read some hate mail.
Yeah, exactly. We'll read it public. It'll be like that. Oh, we can do almost like we can do like the Twitter ones that they do, like on the Jimmy
Yeah, when
Fallon show
people read
stuff.
mean tweets. That's
Exactly.
exactly. All right. Well, we're not asking for any mean ones, but I'll leave that stuff down below. If not, me and Sean will wander off topic. We eventually got to start being concise. We'll come up with some episodes, and we look
Yep,
forward to hearing from all of you.
absolutely. I'm super stoked. I
All
can't freaking
right.
wait.
Thanks.